I ask for unanimous consent to submit for the record a letter from the American Securities Association regarding the hearing today, and
Without objection.
thank you. First of all, thank you to all of you. This has been a fascinating hearing. I was absent from Congress for the last 8 years and was an entrepreneur and looking to raise capital to start companies or to revitalize companies or to grow companies. And so, Mr. Conwell, your story is fascinating. Congratulations on one hand, but I know you've got probably some scars to show how you got to where you are, as well as Mr. Barnell as well. And but I'd like to ask a little bit about, and I appreciate the gentleman's comments. And we are really in that balance between access to capital, but in protecting investors. And I've been in many meetings, you trying to explain the project and say, this is why, we believe it's going to be successful, and, we would love your participation and investment as well. And it really, it's, as he mentioned, there's dumb money out there. That's unfortunate, but, we also, people are wanting to participate because they're working on in their daily job, they're raising their family, but they're also feeling like, I have a little bit of money here, I'd like to participate somewhere. How can I do that? What's the easiest way to do that? And I guess a question for Mr. Conwell, could you touch on maybe crowdfunding just a little bit and how that's playing in today's fundraising and capital formation?
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to see that question, Ms. Rebecca. She does with crowdfunding.
Okay.
She's the expert here.
All right, that's fine with me.
Could you repeat the question?
Well, just can you talk a little bit about crowdfunding? I mean, it's been around for a little while, but with technology and easier access, and could you talk a little bit about where crowdfunding is playing in capital formation in today's markets and fundraising?
Yes, it's incredibly important, the technology that we've built at Dealmaker and that a lot of our colleagues have built in the space is foundational to helping more entrepreneurs get funded. In today's day and age, we can do that, especially for jurisdictions that aren't Silicon Valley or Wall Street, by getting deals like Mr. Andrew Barnell's in front of people in all different regions. And so we can draw from the communities and we can help form businesses that aren't based in those city centers.
And what about investor protection through that avenue? What are some of your thoughts on that? Is there enough protection? Is there enough information disclosed?
The legislation is incredibly well designed. We have the Form C, we have the 1A. What we've actually seen is that with that standardized disclosure, more junior investors can become more sophisticated because every deal they look at, there's the same format where they can read the same information. And it's actually desirable that the whole exempt markets move in that direction.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Barnell, congratulations on your success. And I know that as an entrepreneur, you're always looking forward. Sometimes it's good for us to always just take a glance back and look at how far we've come, but there's always more work to do. Could you talk a little bit, you mentioned in your remarks about the difficulty raising funds in the Midwest. I guess I'm just curious because I come from Indiana and I would agree with that comment, but I'm kind of curious of your experience and why you mentioned that in particular, and do you have any ideas what could be done to change that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's one stat I always like to cite. It's not that there's an absence of industry or capital to deploy, right? I think sometimes it's the infrastructure doesn't exist. So if you look at the data, 20% of the GDP in the country, 20% of the jobs are in the Midwest, but only 4% of the venture capital is deployed there. Yeah. So it's not an absence of the capital, it's an absence of the means to make it happen, which is why I think things such as making it easier for venture funds to form because we have fewer venture funds per capita than other places, easier to crowdfund. Those are the ways we solve the solution and make it easier and provide the knowledge for people to invest in companies when they want to and when they see the opportunity.
Is it just a matter of connecting those who have funds to those who have projects? Because I know, in the Midwest, Congressman Style and my district are some of the heaviest manufacturing districts in the country. And a lot of these folks, maybe they came off the farm, they know how to build a widget, but they don't necessarily know how to finance something. Is that something, is there places out there that we try to connect people to be able to fund projects like that?
And I don't know all the solutions, but I could speak to some of our experience. We're a colorectal cancer screening test, and early on we had a lot of doctors and gastroenterologists say, I want to invest in this. I've never done it. How do I do it? Is this like buying a stock, right? And so I think it's the education, it's the funds. I think there's a lot of things that we need to do to make it happen. But I think if you move that direction over time, you're going to be in a much better place from a capital formation perspective.
Thank you, Madam Chair.